What's up, guys? It's that Panda guy. I'm here again with another video, and today we're gonna be talking about this kind of workshop. All right, this is kind of what I wanted to talk about today. One, because I don't have anything I don't think I can post today. Two, I've actually been trying to be a little bit more consistent with my uploads and doing them more so daily than I have recently because I've been kind of gapped on them. All right, and three, I actually did think that this was kind of concerning when I really thought about it. All right, but we're gonna be talking about why workshop might be the worst thing they added to the game. We saw Armaments and we actually thought that was pretty bad. And to be fair, Armaments were relatively bad, especially considering the fact that when you're doing spins or even when you're buying out obviously packs to get chips to kind of spin your luck or whatever on getting a certain attribute on your armament, this is kind of like gambling. It's basically gambling. But at the very least, armaments were grindable, right? If I wanted to get all 5 stars on my armament, I could either do that extremely cheap, or not cheap, because I buy the weekly armament things, right? And I've slowly started getting my things up to being close to 5 stars on at least one hero, right? But generally, it is grindable. You can get the armament fragments through events. You can get armament boxes through various things within the game, right? So obviously you can get those up. It might take you a year, it might take you 2 years, but you could eventually max out a hero. You could max out 2 heroes, whatever the case, without being a big spender, without having to spend maybe even anything, right? But when you kind of consider workshop, they've completely paywalled it, right? Even parts, which parts are extremely expensive, they're extremely hard to raise. You have Bloody Brandy, etc., which cost gems, but it doesn't cost money, right? You don't have to spend on it. Even though parts, obviously, to max everything out to Supreme, it would be basically impossible without spending money. The point is that these are grindable, right? And I understand games being like this. Don't get me wrong. I understand the reason that games are like this, and it's just kind of how games are. It's a business at the end of the day, and I do understand where IGG is coming from. It's why I don't complain too extensively about that stuff. I do think that it creates an imbalance in the game, obviously, especially when they're adding as many features as they are. But it kind of gets to a point where it's doing too much, and the worst thing to me is actually workshop, right? And I'm on one of my alts right now, but the reason I think workshop is so bad is because they completely paywall it. There is literally no way to compete with people who do spend on this thing, right? Like I personally in Armaments, it has taken me a while, but I have almost like a 3 million my hero, right? And that is really nice for me. It helps me kind of compete with maybe mid spenders or lower spenders, or if I need a garrison, it makes me potentially able to compete at all, right? That's kind of the point there. Obviously my parts maybe can't match up to like a whale, my armaments can't match up to a whale, but generally a low mid spender or even like a newer whale I could more so compete with. Whereas you kind of look at workshop or something, and this is completely paywalled. And I mean, you can look at the stats here. Max stats 905 squad firepower just right here. This is like 9% attack percent. You have 37.5 infantry squad attack, and you get the 37.5 on each one of these 6 things. It is just towards their various troop type or their specific troop type. And then obviously, like I said, there's squad protection, squad firepower, which kind of every 100 you can count as like 1 attack or 1 defense, so it does add up, and these kind of spread out throughout all your squads. And the amount of stats you're able to get from these things is absolutely insane, and it's just the fact that these are completely ungrindable. There's no way to get any blueprints for like a tier 3 or a tier 2 without spending. Generally the premise of being a whale or spending as much as you normally do is being able to take a shortcut, or and that shortcut could even be like 10 years, right? Like if it takes me 10 years to get a white part on my profile, whatever, right? But you guys get my point, right? Like this is literally paywalled. There's no way to get it without spending, and I feel like this kind of puts the game on a really bad, shaky path, because I just don't think that I just think this is one of the worst things they honestly could have done when it comes down to, adding stuff. Like I said, at the very least, with armaments, they were grindable. I could do Dark Seal, I could get armament boxes, I could do Archipelago Raid, I could get armament boxes. I can even get my freaking device fragments in the seasonal shop. And the issue is with this even more so is the fact that they did paywall it is if they unpaywall it, they'd be pissing off so many players, rightfully so, right? Because you probably buy, or a lot of people maybe buy into this thinking, oh, well, this is paywalled, so if I buy it, it's going to put my enemies at a massive disadvantage, not being able to kind of compete with me on a similar playing scale ever, unless they spend the same amount of money I have, or they spend a considerable amount of money and then maybe time grinding up the actual weapon kits to like level 15, which I think would take a considerable amount of time without spending your way up. But you guys get my point, right? I just think that this is like one of the worst things that they probably could have added. I don't hate the workshop concept exactly. It's just like how they did it. I just hate it. I hate how they did it. I hate how, like I said, it's paywalled. And yeah, I don't really have much to say about it, like that's it. I kind of was pandering on the same topic, but I do think that this was kind of an interesting topic to breach onto, and talk about and maybe open up some discussions on it. And the fact that this is just maybe a possible game killer, if not all the other stuff that people obviously complain about, this could maybe be one of the worst things, just putting them down on a really bad path, if you ask me. That being said, it was hopefully you guys had a good day or night. Hopefully this video satisfied your ears for the day. Alright, I will see you guys in the next video though. I do appreciate you guys for watching as always. I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I will see you guys in the next one, and that is about it. Peace out.